Hello and welcome back to the Snakebite. I hope you have your popcorn because this will be an exciting episode. We have both basketball teams, lacrosse, and the rest of spring sports are up and running. Let's roll the intro. Women's basketball continues to flex their muscles as they are coming off their biggest regular season win of head coach Megan 𝙏𝙀𝙀 tenure at Florida Southern. Wednesday night, the Mocs took on the red-hot 𝙏𝙀𝙀 College Tritons, who entered the matchup on a 9-game win streak that included a close win over Florida Southern in St. Pete. Florida Southern entered the matchup looking for their first win against 𝙏𝙀𝙀 in nearly 4 years, and from the jump, the Mocs battled. It started off with Monica Ballester and Gianna Voss, who were huge early, getting some big makes to bump the Mocs ahead and continue to trade blows with the Tritons. Once the second quarter started, so did the 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼, who continued to make history for the Mocs with timely buckets before completely turning it on in the second half, scoring a career-high 32 points in the game. I was able to talk to Sid after the huge 69-53 upset win over the Tritons.
Sid, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I said we might need 20 from you again tomorrow. You gave us 32, career high, now over 1,200 career points. Talk about what happened tonight.
Honestly, just give it all to my teammates. I haven't been feeling it the last 2 games. I haven't been shooting the ball like I've been before. There's instilled confidence in me. Coach Shelby shot me this morning and before the game. Just kind of got back into myself today.
You mentioned your teammates. Monica, Lily Rangard, and everyone else was huge down the stretch. Talk about what they did for you guys tonight.
Yeah, we had a game plan and we stuck to it. I mean, that's a great team right there. Our defense is really good. We strung all 4 quarters together finally. I think we played really good team basketball. I think we just played really well today.
Thank you, Sid. Congratulations.
Bounced. The Rollins College Stars. Gomes again was great in this one, but there's a lot more to talk about with these ladies from Rollins. In the game against Rollins, Sydney Gomes had another 20-point performance on her season, but like I said, there were a ton of major contributors. One of those, Lily Rangard. Rangard found her 4th straight 15-point game. Nia Blockton got her 4th career double-double and 2nd straight, and of course, the rest of the Mocs locked down the Tars' attack. The Mocs cruised to their 17-point win over Rollins and more than carried that into their previously mentioned statement win over 𝙏𝙀𝙀. The ladies now continue to roll on with a 5-game win streak where they've won by an average of 17.6 points per contest. They'll be faced with a tall task as the Mocs, who are now the number 3 team in the conference, coming off a win over the number 1 team in the conference, take on Embry-Riddle on the road at 2 p.m. tomorrow after the Eagles embarrassed the Mocs in their last matchup this season.
This is the first Snakebite all season where the men's basketball team is not receiving a single vote in the national rankings. To start the season, the Mocs were ranked in the top 20, but with their recent stumbles, they've dropped out of the rankings altogether. Unlike the women, in the trip to Rollins, they struggled mightily in a game where they couldn't find any solution to the Tars' attack of the Moccasin paint, where Rollins scored 54 points in the paint. Charlie Dalton was the lone statistical bright spot of this one, posting 22 points as one of 3 Mocs to post 10-plus points in the game. The Mocs had to regroup where they were tasked with a pesky, strong 𝙏𝙀𝙀 team looking for their first season sweep of the Mocs since Donnelly's first season at the helm. Carl, what's a Triton?
I don't know, but I think Amari Miller has a pretty good idea.
Amari Miller owned the rim and the entire first half of the game, putting up the first 5 points of the game in the most exciting way possible. For example, step back, take this 3, and oh wait, how about a slam on top of that? Miller absolutely fueled the Mocs early, igniting an offensive battle between the 2 schools over the first 15 minutes of the game. After that, everyone, visitors, fans, and the Mocs all saw red. The Mocs outscored the Tritons 72-47. Over the final 25 minutes of game time, Amir Ramadan was huge in this run into the half as he was 5 for 5 in the first half, only getting outscored by Miller in the first before exiting the game early due to an injury. We saw even more slams, triples, and jaw-dropping plays in the second half, contributing to 5 Mocs posting 15-plus points in the 106-81 win.
And there was a lot of history with that win. The 400th career win for Mike Donnelly. He's the first coach ever in Florida Southern history to reach that 400 career win mark while still coaching at Florida Southern. And it was a lot bigger of a win than just that. PBA, who the Mocs fell to on the road recently, also lost by 1 point to Florida Tech, a team the Mocs will play sooner than later, making it just a one-game gap between those two schools, giving the Mocs the reins yet again to control their destiny as we have just 5 more games of in-conference regular season play. One of those games for the Mocs will be senior night against Nova Southeastern, the #1 team in the country and the reigning national champs. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, they have to look immediately in front at Embry-Riddle, a team that hasn't played the Mocs too much in comparison to other teams in the conference, just 25 matchups between those two schools, but it's one of the next 5 must-win games to close the regular season for the SSC tournament top 2 seed hopefuls in Florida Southern. The #3 women's lacrosse team in the country has started the season with a clutch win over #16 Wingate. The Mocs stumbled out of the gates in their 2026 campaign opener, finding themselves down 4-0 in the first quarter on the road before the Moc of the match first made her appearance on the score sheet in Luis Aloy, who scored her first goal of the season to put the score at 4-1. Florida Southern continued to rally, getting things to 3-4 before the hosts responded again, holding the Mocs off until the start of the fourth quarter when things evened out at 8 thanks to Colby Cohen, who I'll mention in a little bit. The Mocs soon followed with their 9th goal and first lead of the season thanks to Bailey Pinder's 2nd goal of the game, which was assisted by Aloy. Wingate didn't go away though. They got even, traded leads with the Mocs until the game returned to being tied with 63 seconds to go. That's when Colby Cohen called game. Cohen was one of 4 Mocs in the game with 2 or more goals, and Aloy led the teams in goals, assists, and points, scoring 4 goals to pair with her lone assist. The ladies return to action this afternoon where they will host #10 Lynn University in their home opener, with yours truly calling the game on the SSC Digital Network at 5 p.m. Make sure to tune in.
The men's lacrosse team is suffering a rocky beginning to the season with a loss to Wingate University, resulting in an 0-2 record. To preface, this one was ugly, as the Bulldogs largely dominated this game from the start. After a pair of goals from both teams, including the Mocs' own standout attacker, Maddox Walton, Wingate rattled off 5 unanswered goals in the first quarter. And it managed to continue to get worse as the Bulldogs continued their reign of terror with 9 goals between the second and third quarter to pull away, with the scoreboard reading 15-3 by the fourth. The final score ended up being 17-11 with a late rally from the Mocs, but an overall gloomy loss. One of the positive takeaways from the game is that the Mocs managed to keep up with the Bulldogs in terms of total shots as well as shots on goal in the stat book, so I certainly wouldn't count them out yet, especially with how early it is in the season. They'll come back to Lakeland for their home opener against rival St. Leo Lions, which will prove to be a test. Not only are they a ranked opponent, but they're coming off a 24-10 annihilation of the University of Montevallo, and they'll be facing an SSC Offensive Player of the Week in senior attacker Greg Palmer, who recorded 7 goals and 3 assists against Montevallo.
Men's golf came out hot at their home event, the Matlock Classic, putting on a show right from the start. The Mocs stormed through the opening day, sitting comfortably in 2nd place at 9 under, just a few strokes behind fellow powerhouse West Florida. As the 54-hole battle wrapped up, the Mocs held their position, finishing 2nd overall at 10 under, and leading the way was Dante Grapuso, who was tied for the lead after 2 rounds and showed no signs of slowing down. And thankfully for him and the Mocs, with a strong second day of competition, Grapuso powered his way to victory with an incredible 13 under that got him the individual title while setting the tone for the season ahead. Grapuso entered the contest as the 45th ranked individual nationally, but now he's best in the nation as part of the #4 men's golf team in the country. The ladies stayed busy too as they battled on the road at the World Golf Invitational hosted by Flagler College, where they finished 5th in a 16-team field. The Mocs were a few strokes shy of Lander and Tampa as they were led yet again by Claire Gimple, who continued her strong form with an 8th place finish at +5. After their 5th place finish, the ladies dropped 1 rank nationally, going to 11th in the nation. The next few weeks, the Lady Mocs will be having their home event, and the men's team will be heading to the St. Leo Invitational.
Mocs baseball started off strong but could not carry over Friday's win against Young Harris College into Champions Weekend, falling victim to late inning rallies by their opponents. Florida Southern hit the ground running on Friday against Young Harris with a 9-6 win as they were able to break a late tie with a 5-run rally in the 8th inning. The Mocs racked up 13 hits and 6 walks, while the pitching staff recorded a whopping 18 strikeouts. Unfortunately, momentum was stopped after Friday's game as the Mocs were defeated in a doubleheader by the Mountain Lions. Although the Mocs came closer to winning the second game, they couldn't complete a late comeback, falling by a score of 13-11. Then, on Tuesday, the Mocs made a statement early by jumping to a 2-0 lead against 𝙏𝙃𝙀. The 2 runs can be attributed to Gavin Smith, who hit a knock into left field, which allowed teammates Mikey Smith and Ryan Jenkins to score. Despite these early contributions by key players, Florida Southern fell victim to a brutal 5-run inning by the Tritons. The Mocs will now return home from their away game and face the University of Illinois Springfield on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Henley Field.
Softball had a rough start going to start the season with 6 total games played in a 3-day time span against some really solid South and Southeast region opponents. In those 6 games, the Mocs went 1-5 with their lone win coming against Tuskegee University Golden Tigers by a score of 5-2. In the win, first baseman Hannah Lewis mashed her first home run of the season and her career in the second inning, securing a 2-0 lead for the Mocs. The Golden Tigers responded with their own 2-run inning to make it 2-2, but heading into the 5th, another freshman stepped up. 𝙏𝙃𝙀 Polanco hit her own solo shot to start a rally of scoring, resulting in 2 unearned runs and forcing a final score of 5-2 Mocs. So far, Polanco seems to be one of the main shining stars for the Florida Southern batting attack, batting .421 on her 19 at-bats with 12 total bases and a stolen base to pair. They'll look to snap an early 4-game losing streak in a series against Rollins tonight and tomorrow at Chris Pilato Field for the home opener. And that will do it for this week's edition of the Snakebite. Really excited for what this softball team can continue to get going. Amanda Lieberman, she's looked really great, and the slow-mo continues to really make it tough for opponents. And the rest of the Mocs are staying really busy. Swim is having their conference championships right now. Track resuming pretty soon. And of course, basketball will keep rolling that ball up the court and maybe even continue to slam it home.